This is Vibe Science, a top 100 wellness podcast presented by the Radcast Network, breaking wellness barriers and making health truly personal. Here are your hosts, Ryan Alford and Chris Hansen.
Hello, and welcome to Vibe Science. We're always taking you to your highest vibe. Another special edition here. I've got Chris in the studio here in G Vegas. What's up, brother?
What's up, big dog?
How are you?
Good
We're
to see
here.
you.
Hey, we are the guides. We don't know it all, but we're navigating this train because it's about mind, body, and energy. And ultimately, we've got to empower you with knowledge. That's what we bring the best. Oh, we bring Dr. Joy Kong. What's up, Doc? I always wanted to say that.
Hey, guys.
What's
Great to be here. Love your vibes.
Yes. Regenerative medicine specialist, anti-aging expert. I mean, just a badass, I think. That was pre-episode. That's kind of what it is, you know. We'll save you the story we went down, but let's just say Dr. Kong got some bravery.
We use appropriate words.
Exactly. In LA today, Dr. Kong?
Yes, Los Angeles.
Yes. Yeah. The home of all the beautiful people. You know, that's how, yeah. I was like, when you got on, it's got to be LA. All the beautiful people are in LA, right?
There are beautiful people everywhere.
Well, you're keeping, everyone, hey, you know how you stay beautiful is regenerate and keeping them looking good. That's what I love about what's happening with modern wellness. I mean, not just vanity. I mean, we all know what beauty looks like. Beauty's in the mind of the beholder, but it's on the inside, really. It's like, how do we take care of ourselves? How do we leverage modern medicine, alternative wellness? So I love what we do at this show, but set the table for our audience, Dr. Kong. Let's give everybody a little background on you. And then I'm excited because we're going to break down some misconceptions of peptides and stem cells and all these things that people hear in the news. And I know they're like me. I see them and I'm like, I want to try that. I know I could benefit from that, but I don't really know what to do. So let's set the table, doctor.
Yeah, sounds great. Because we're at such cutting edge of medicine, and we talked about how medicine, I think, is going through a seismic change. So either a doctor or a regular person is on the side of change, or you're going to be left behind. So because it's so new, there's a lot of information floating around, not to mention we're in this information overload stage, right? Anybody can get on the social media stage and start blasting their opinion. So you have so many things, so many people putting their hands in the pot, and it gets very confusing. So that's our job as doctors. I feel like we are, instead of the information conveyors, we're more of nowadays the information kind of guides. We are the one that's helping people to navigate. So we're like the captains for information now. So the misconceptions about stem cells is abundant, and they seem to just not die. It seems like they are persistent. I've heard the same argument 8 years ago, and they're still talking about the same thing, which is mind-boggling. But yes, stem cell therapy, the thing changed is that there's more acceptance, that a lot of people now are understanding that stem cells this is a powerful modality that is not just some people are talking about and doing it, that people are realizing. I think I heard a lot of people are getting benefits, and a lot, I know people who are, getting chronic problems fixed. So I just don't know if it's going to help me specifically. So that the question has changed from, what is a stem cell doctor? Please tell me, to, hey, doc, I have this issue. Do you think it can help me? So that has improved. But the problem is that there are a few misconceptions that is very, 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 very persistent.
Yeah.
One is that people still think somehow stem cell therapy is not legal in the US. And that is just ludicrous. And it's, it has become funny now. I don't know why it's still around. I think partially from the George W. Bush ban on the embryonic stem cell research. So he was just banning federal funding. You can still do research, but no, you just can't get money from us, right? That's one way the government control things. So because there was the pro-life rhetoric and philosophy that they think destroying an embryo is killing a life, so they don't want to support that. But stem cell therapy is such a, have such a vast array of approaches. Embryonic stem cells is only one way you can get stem cells. You can get stem cells from your own body. You can get stem cells from menstrual blood, from a tooth, right? From the dental pulp. You can get stem cells from your blood. You can get it from umbilical cord, from the placenta. There's so many places you can get cells from. So there's no ban on stem cells, but there's certain parameters. In the US, you cannot just give people embryonic stem cells without going through a clinical study. So it's not banned in that sense. You can do it, but you just have to apply for clinical study. And then the FDA will monitor, and then you can do your study. You just can't, hang up your shingle and say, hey, we do embryonic stem cells and come here and get it. So, but there are other therapies you can, such as using your own blood or using your own tissue. It can be fat, it can be bone marrow, or it can be using birth tissue. That's the most prevalent. These three types are the most popular types. So birth tissue means when the baby's born, healthy, alive, crying, right? You cut the cord. No one drags around with a cord and placenta, right? You have to get rid of it. You cut the cord. What do you do with it? You usually throw them away. But now we know to send it to a laboratory that knows how to extract cells out of these tissue. And these cells are incredibly powerful. So you can use any of these cell sources to get cells out. And then you can use the cells if you do not manipulate them in any way, which means using chemicals or enzymes to change the cell structures, and you do not grow them to large numbers. Why? Because the FDA knows when you start growing the cells change. That's why the rule is there. We know the surface receptor change. We know that there's genetic deviation. So a lot of things change. And if you change anything in that sense, it's not the original cells anymore, then FDA says you're making a drug. So that's, up to this point, that's the philosophy, right? It's been going on like that for about 10, the regulation 2017 is their guidelines that came out. So that's only 7-8 years ago. Let's just say 8 years ago, they were saying you can use the cells if you do not manipulate and change them. And if you give it back to the body with the same function, using the cells the way that they were performing their function before. And then you are doing a tissue transplantation, so you're not really creating a drug, and you can give it to people without going through a drug study. So, and that's what has been going on in this country. All these clinics, all these doctors are following that guideline. If you do not manipulate the cells, although some do break the rules, some do grow the cells on their own. And so that's, there's a bit of controversy. They do it anyhow. They may not tell the patients or they may not tell the FDA. So there's that going on. But a lot of businesses, doctors, or business, laboratories were a little scared. So they would go overseas to grow the cells, and they can do whatever manipulation they want to do to have the cells in larger numbers so they can give it to people. But they don't want to do clinical studies. They don't want to deal with the FDA. So then they set up shop in Mexico, Colombia, the Bahamas and Panama, etc. So that's one of the major misconceptions, that people think is not legal in this country. It's legal, but people who are going overseas, maybe some of them don't want you to think that it's legal in the US, because there's, a bit of ulterior motive, right? If you don't think it's legal in the US, and I still encounter patients who come to me till this day that they still thought it's not possible to get it in the US. So they were about to go overseas, and then they did a little bit more research, and maybe they find my video or something actually told them, actually, we're doing it right here. We've been doing this all along for the last decade, yet people still think that they have to go overseas. So that's one of the big misconceptions. And the problem is that
what's the
Yes.
Sorry, Dr. Kong. I just wanted to interject and ask a couple of little questions on that.
Yes.
What?
Break me out of my monologue.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I didn't want to be rude, but yeah. Our episodes kind of go like this with listeners if we don't go a little banter back and forth.
I welcome it. Please jump in anytime.
Yes. Talk to me about, I do hear that a lot where people, I think this taboo nature with it.
Yeah, I want to ask on that.
But too. I think you nailed that. But then it's like, but I also think that there's this fundamental mystery about, I understand, and you might tell me there's 1,200 things that stem cells can do and help with. But what are the 2 or 3 practical things that our listeners, now that we know it's not taboo, that's the misconception, it's not illegal, what are the 2 or 3 best use cases of stem cells?
Oh my God, there's so many. If you go to my lecture on YouTube, I presented, because I teach doctors, right? There's a 2-day course that I teach, but one of the lectures I put on online was what I gave at Cell Surgical Network, and it's about the diverse clinical applications of stem cell therapy. So I ran through, I was sprinting to try to give people the information on all these organ systems and disease categories, because there's good evidence for all these conditions. So it's hard to narrow down, right? We have people coming to our clinic, looking for solutions for chronic illnesses, coming from, the brain issues, right? Brain, very difficult to fix, and a lot of problems, traumatic brain injury, Parkinson's, MS, and post-stroke, or ALS, and all these conditions. And then coming down the organs, heart, lungs, liver, and kidneys, and reproductive systems. We've helped people with all these different areas. So it's really hard to narrow down. But when people come to me and they ask me, Doc, I have this condition, can stem cells help? So I go for clinical research first. I let them know what has been found. If there's no evidence, then we go look at how the cells work. So basically, the concept is very simple. If you have any inflammation as part of the reason that your disease is propagated or is continuing, then stem cells are a good fit. If you have immune dysregulation, that your immune system is overactive, you can't calm down your system and you're attacking itself, then stem cells is really powerful. We're kind of more focusing on the mesenchymal stem cells, which is the most prevalent one therapy right now. There are various kinds, but that's the immune regulation and balancing is a huge part. And then if you injured yourself, there was any tissue injury, even with chronic conditions, there could be tissue damage in different organs. Then the stem cells will go in, the mesenchymal stem cells will go in to signal your body's own system, not only calm down inflammation, take away debris and take away cells that don't belong, but also tell your local stem cells, because every organ you have, every tissue you have, there are these primitive cells ready to divide to become a new tissue, to form new tissue. So in the sense, we don't necessarily have to count on a stem cell's ability to form new tissue. All the stem cells has to do is to tell your local tissue, it's your time to shine. It's your time to come alive and make new cells to replace the damaged ones. So if you have anything that's related to inflammation, immune dysregulation, or tissue damage, then you're in a good place when it comes to stem cells. So that would be
the biggest. I've heard about it, probably like guys on Joe Rogan, right? These UFC fighters that even I think Mel Gibson was talking about going down to Mexico. So from what you're saying, all these athletes that, I went to Mexico because I had ACL tear or whatever, you're telling me I can get the same treatment in the US? Same exact.
Can. Okay. Yes. You probably.
So what do you think the difference is? Just cost,
and
obviously.
Just as good results, if not better. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, are we injecting it or are we taking it orally?
Inject.
Oh, you can't. We don't have oral delivery yet. And, your stomach acid is definitely going to digest it. No, you need to put it in the body. The beauty of the cells is that they have the sensing system. They have the ability to get to wherever you need them because they can track signals. So as long as you put it in the body, anywhere you put in the body, there's a great chance that they're going to get to where you need.
Okay.
Some may stay more locally. If you want more local delivery, let's say you injured your knee, probably it's a good idea to inject some right into the knee, because especially within the knee capsule, the exchange between the capsule, the synovial fluid and the blood is very, very slow. It probably is going to take a couple months for the two to equilibrate. So you want to put some locally, but injection is the key, because the cells are very big. Let's say people doing facial, they think they can just put the cells, on the surface. Maybe if they do microneedling, creating some holes, and they think the cells, hopefully they will get into the holes. It's yes, small percentage will, but it's a bit of a waste. You want to inject under your skin so the cells are inside your body, and then they can travel wherever you need them. If you have a lot of inflammation. Yeah, if you have a lot of inflammation or some kind of, if you did microneedling, you're creating the tissue, this micro trauma, then the cells are going to stay there. They're going to try to help you fix the trauma, which in the process is going to rejuvenate.
I did the microneedling on my head for my hair at my med spa.
Yeah.
But quickly after, when I went back for my next one, my injector switched it to she was doing actual injections in my head and not microneedling.
Okay.
And I definitely think it worked. But my question to you is, the stem cells I got injected into my head are going to repair my knee? Like it could?
Well,
technically?
Not enough probably will get into the knee.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, but some may be absorbed into your systemic circulation, and they can always touch upon your immune system.
It's not hurting me.
And that can help elevating your regenerative potential, even your knee. Because I have done it where I give a patient just an IV infusion of stem cells, because I'm always trying to save people money. So this person was trying to fix his traumatic brain injury, but he has a knee problem. I said, let's see what happens when we just give you IV. I know we're focusing on the brain, but it may give you enough power to regenerate that your knee can feel better. And lo and behold, within a month or two, he said, well, my knees are completely good. I don't need a knee injection. So that's it shows you the power of elevating your regenerative potential throughout your body.
How would it compare to like shoulders or other things, like cortisone? You hear about cortisone shots or things like that. I would stay
that's the biggest thing in pain with pain clinics, right? Is they just hand out cortisone shots.
Unfortunately, that's their only tool that, was it because, if you have a hammer, that everything looking like nail. So if that's the only, that's the only tool they have, then they're going to give it to you temporarily. You're going to feel better, but that's going to cause bone degradation. It's going to cause local tissue deterioration. So in the long run, you're really shooting yourself in the foot.
Yeah, it's a band-aid.
So stem cells is an option for doing it the right way, or is it, again, different tools for different things?
Yeah, steroid overall, I think for very short-term relief of symptom is okay. However, you are dealing with the devil, that the devil said, I'll make your pain less, but this is the price to pay. Okay. So you are paying a price. Whereas if you are doing regenerative therapies, that has no downside. It's not going to degrade you over the long run. Yeah. It's only going to enhance you. Then you are wiser in choosing to do this. Yeah, I think it's way better than anything steroid. It modulates the immune response, right? A steroid, and the stem cells does just that without all the side effects.
Dr. Kong, what do most people come to you for? Like, you obviously have a practice. Like, what are the most common things you're helping with regenerative health?
I would say 80% of them come to me for very severe and chronic conditions that they have no relief from with their doctors. They've tried everything. So the other 20% are people who are really healthy. They could be range from age, 35 to 90, right? But they are fairly healthy. They don't really have anything majorly wrong, but they want to stay young. They want to really function at a higher level. But the other 80%, it goes from very young autistic kids. We do specialize in helping kids with autism. Of course, I'm trained psychiatrist. We also have a trained pediatrician on our team. So we have a fantastic team, at my clinic in Los Angeles, because, every doctor shines in their different specialties. So we do have a team that help with autism kids. So we have a lot of autistic children. We have a specific protocol for them. And we also have people who, like I mentioned, from head to toe, right? All kinds of internal organ issues, a lot of autoimmune diseases. So I love treating autoimmune conditions. It seems so difficult by the conventional medicine, but to us, I think we have a very elegant way of helping the body between stem cells and peptides and supplements and our laser light and ozone. So we have a whole range of tools. And then, a lot of sports injuries, of course, and chronic osteoarthritis, back pain. So all these are very, very common human conditions that we have really good solutions for. So, and then rejuvenation, the beauty aspect. So people may come to our clinic for hair restoration, for facial rejuvenation. And we also have a great way of helping with sleep apnea. Very non-invasive, very inexpensive way of using laser technology to tighten the airway. It's pretty amazing because people drag around with the CPAP machine, but we can fix the problem with a very simple laser procedure. So a whole range of treatments.
Wow,
Chris, you could use some of those beauty techniques. You're not beautiful enough already.
I'm getting a little wrinkled in the Miami sun. I definitely could use a hydrofacial.
So says the old guy to the young guy.
The skin always needs an extra TLC. I've seen it from my mom. I remember, looking at my mom's skin below the neck. Oh my God, it's so, soft and smooth and fair. And then above the neck is like, whoa, that looks like a different person. It just shows you that the sun damage, the environmental toxins, it makes a big difference. And it's probably why not only we do that, I actually just did one procedure on myself, just the Photona treatment at our clinic, the laser light treatment. I haven't done it for a while. So between stem cells and a little bit of laser kind of acceleration of rejuvenation. And then I also developed a skin cream called Chara Omni, which is a 100% natural cream that have stem cells and peptides in it. So that one, the combination of the three, I think it's kind of magical. The stem cells, of course, I've done it myself regularly in the last 8 years on a very regular basis, every 3 months. So I think it's just a matter of whether or not people wants to capitalize on this new technology. It's here because there are only 2 other people I've met that have been doing stem cells on a regular basis, at least twice a year for over 8 years. And they all look 10 years younger than their age. Oh, so dang. Yeah.
I didn't get that. I want to look 27, Dr. Kong.
Okay. You know what they say, right? If you stay well for a while, for just a few years, there's so many more technologies coming on board. All of a sudden, that can keep you stay even younger, dial back clock
you
even
can stay
further.
ahead of it.
Yeah. And then you escape the escape velocity, just escape the curve. And then you just keep on living if you want to.
It does kind of feel like we live. It's funny you bring that up as an interesting topic, Dr. Kong. Talking with Dr. Joy Kong, a regenerative specialist, and she reverses the age on us. But it does feel like we live in this period where we're close to, if you can stick around long enough,
you can hold out another 10 years, you'll probably be 10 good.
20 years. Yeah. I mean, I keep telling myself that I'm going to live in the generation where we can reverse it 30 years or something. But it does almost feel that way, doesn't it, Dr. Kong?
What?
Doesn't it feel like we're kind of on the cusp of that? Yeah.
Because the stem cells, where do you know? Regular stem cell infusion for animals extends their lifespan by 30%. That's been consistently shown. That's not huge. Just lifespan. They look so much better. Their furs are shinier. Their spine is straighter. They're, running around with, really good locomotion as if they were younger. And then their mental state They were able to follow the maze and as if they were younger rats. So, and then when they dissect their brain and muscles, everything was reverted to the younger state. So it's not just they looking better. On the cellular level, all their cells are at a younger state. So, de facto, you are younger. So we're already there. If you can extend the lifespan by 30%. So in humans, that may be an extra 15, 20 years, right? And then with other technologies like peptides and energy therapy, I think extending it, by 30, 40, 50 years, it's not far-fetched at all. Yeah.
You brought up peptides. It's all rage, at least.
I'm a big fan of them.
Yeah.
I'm a researcher.
Yeah. And so
yes.
I've been dabbling myself, but wanting to get further down the rabbit hole. But I know our audience, I think you think of, the first thing that comes to mind is the weight loss peptides, right? So semaglutides of the world, Ozempic, all that. But there is a vast world of peptides out there.
Yeah.
Isn't there, Dr. Kong?
Yes. It's a little, it can be overwhelming for patients and also to doctors. Everyone is excited and it's hard to find a good source and everyone's scrambling, where can I get this peptide? Where can I get that one? And everything that's online is all research only. It's just a crazy space. But they are powerful nonetheless. And they were discovered originally by the Russians, during the Cold War. And, they were
Russian
very
peptides.
much, right. They're more focused on, so that's a difference because I was asking Dr. Lawrence, I just interviewed him on my podcast and he is bringing the whole research of bioregulators and everything to this country. And bioregulators are these tiny, tiny peptides. So they are just very short, 2 to 3 amino acids long, 2 to 4. So they're very tiny, and then they can go across cell nucleus to revise, to revise and correct and rejuvenate your DNA. So these are very powerful peptides. And I was asking him, why did the Russians develop it? We're in Cold War a race, right? It's between them and us. How come they found these peptides and we're in the race and we're actually more wealthy? Why didn't we find it? He said, well, the emphasis is different. Here is about drugs and making money. Right. So there's a difference in emphasis over there. They would like to prevent people from getting sick.
And they want to win the Olympics.
This way to get people better.
Yeah. Russia's always been at our necks at the Olympics.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. You bet they're using it.
Yeah, exactly. They won.
There's a lot of history there. With
a lot of history. I know from watching Rocky IV how they get ahead with those things. That was a true story, wasn't it?
What?
Rocky IV?
Are you serious?
The fighting, the Russian?
I don't know.
No, really? Interesting.
He was on all kinds of peptides. He was like the strongest boxer of all time. It was fiction, but I joke a little bit. But it's kind of going down that road of it was showing how advanced they were with like it was before its time. This movie was like filmed in like 1990 or something. Yeah.
I think there's some kind of, definitely in this country, I know there's some kind of arrogance. I love America. It gave me a tremendous amount of opportunity, but I've always known that there's a sense of arrogance. We're the number one in the world and we're it, but no, you're not it in everything. That other people are ahead of you in other things. Just because you can't read their language, that you can't read their research, doesn't mean it doesn't exist. So you can bury your head in the sand. It's like, no, we're the best. We're the only best. You're just fooling yourself. So you got to open up and realize that the rest of the world could be moving on if you don't try to learn and catch up. So fortunately, now the cat's out of the bag. We know about all these peptides, and a lot of doctors are utilizing it. Of course, the weight loss one is what put it on the horizon.
Yeah.
How many people have? What's the percentage of U.S. population have tried the
it's like
GLP-1
30%,
agonist?
40.
It's something like
it's high.
Remember, like 70%,
like
huge number of. That's crazy.
Yeah, but it's helping people. The more I read about it, it's helping with heart health and diabetes and everything else, not just the weight.
Yeah. There's some concerns about potential side effects, but I think probably the benefit definitely outweigh the potential issues.
Which ones are getting you excited, Dr. Kong, as far as the peptide research, things that maybe not everyone that is, everyone's listening's heard of the weight loss ones.
Yeah. And those aren't the ones I'm researching. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I bring the best ones to my clinic. I think we have about 25 of those. So I limit, the number. My mantra is the biggest bang for your buck. Whatever give you the best results.
Like that.
Yeah.
That's a headline right there. The biggest bang for your buck peptides. Let's go. What are they?
Exactly. Why spread yourself thin if you can't, and overwhelming everybody when some will give you such drastic results. So I focus on those.
What's the winning stack?
And I use all of them. I use all of them. At any one point, I'm taking either, between 3 to 7 peptides. So I rotate them because I love them all. So starting from, everybody knows about BPC 157, TB 500, right?
Yeah.
I actually incorporate that with our stem cell therapy, because it targets all these organs all at once. So I don't want to skimp on them, right? I want to make sure you're getting all these signals. So we may try to regenerate everything in your body. The stem cells are like the big guns. They're the engine that's driving everything, because the stem cells can produce all these peptides, right? Thousands of different molecules, including peptides and all these other signals. And, some are enclosed in the exosomes that they shoot out into space. But we're trying to target many organs, and the BPC 157, TB 500 are like these, multifunctional. I call most peptides are like a key or a couple keys, that unlock a few biological functions. But the BPC 157 TB 500 is like a huge keychain that you're unlocking all these doors within your biological system. I love having them there because it can help your brain health, your immune health, your muscle.
Is that why I feel so good? I did that. I've started that. I'm on like a 3rd week of that right now.
Oh, are you taking both BPC 157 TB 500?
Yeah.
Yeah. I love the combination. So BPC, of course, give you more gut repair. And then the TB 500 is also great for cardiovascular system. So I love putting the two together because that covers most ground. But in addition, like you mentioned, the weight loss ones, we have several ones that are good for weight loss, such as the semaglutide. There's the MOTS-C, that's good for weight loss, and 5-amino-1-MQ. So and also ipamorelin, CJC in combination, or tesamorelin. These are growth hormone promoting peptides. So not only it's going to help you accelerate muscle gain and fat loss, but it's going to give you all these other benefits, including improved sleep, improving recovery time, and just they're youth peptides, right? They're helping you
too.
stay in a useful state. Yeah. Have
Man,
you noticed?
Imagine how young I'll look if I get on.
Bro, you're gonna look just like me. We can be twins.
Look at you.
That's what I'm trying to do.
Hey, Dr. Colin Clue, this is synchronicity.
Yes, it is.
Have you noticed?
This show is secretly, we're empowering others, but we're empowering Ryan how to be Chris's dad.
Yeah.
How can we make a 47-year-old like a 35-year-old?
Yeah, but I need your hairline, and then we'll be fair.
Hey, we can share.
I'm doing all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stem cells have helped for sure.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've done the stem cell. I've done like 6 treatments in the injections in my scalp.
Good.
Yeah, it's definitely helped. My business partner started it.
We use a very simple procedure that doesn't even require anesthetic. I think it's more effective, is less painful, and on top of it, we also use a cream I've developed that also is going to accelerate the hair regeneration. So it's a kind of a painless process at our clinic, for hair rejuvenation. So, the injecting stem cells into hair, unless you are getting a nerve block, it's going to be very painful. So I don't know if you got it.
I did not do a nerve block. I just
you grit your teeth.
White knuckled it and held that little vibrating thing under my chin.
Except when he gets in the cold plunge.
Yeah.
That's one way of doing it. Oh, you do cold plunge. That's okay. So you got some
We did that yesterday.
Yeah. I've learned how to breathe through the discomfort.
No,
that's good for you. Yeah. Well, not many people are going to be able to do that.
Well,
Personally, I don't like cold plunge. I know I should be doing it.
Most women don't like it.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's all right.
I don't know that men like it either, but you know what I mean? Every woman we've talked to the last few days.
It's not a dating requirement for me, so I'm not worried about it.
Yeah.
I've heard it's bad for women's bodies and their cycles. So
I'm going to hold on to that. And
yeah. Boom. There you go, Doc. I'm empowering you.
That's my line. Yes.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
So I want to ask on the topic of peptides, because I've seen with RFK incoming, right, as health secretary, I've seen him talk a lot about peptides specifically, hormones and stuff like that. How does that make you feel, or what do you see forward looking being in this space? God. What do you?
I don't think I've felt as hopeful and just like my body as a biological and psychological human being, or even spiritual human being, feeling a sense of liberation. I've not felt that way for years, because literally I feel we've all been living under the thumbs of the big pharma and the agency that they've captured, right? So we are controlled by the rhetoric that's set forth by whatever they dictate, including my medical school education. I'll tell you, when I first year in medical school, I remember like saying thank you to the FDA. And I was saying, oh my God, we're so lucky to have the FDA to protect us. And, I was so naive, because that's all I was told. We got this agency that's really protecting us. It has our best interest in mind. And this is how this country, where people are staying safe. And then I start to find out what happens with drug approvals, all the data that's been, fudged, and how things were approved when they really shouldn't be, and how other innovative therapies were silenced, and how they're prosecuting doctors who are actually making a difference in people's lives and silencing them, when all they did was bringing good and innovative therapies to patients and seeing incredible results, and how they can be punitive and completely vicious in treating these pioneers. And to me, I didn't understand, but the more I knew, the more angry I got. I couldn't believe it. How can this be? And of course, if you find out who is pulling the strings and who is controlling the whole process, then it makes sense. Now it's all making sense. So finally, after, it's like someone has a thumb over your head for all these years. And during COVID, we can't even mention,
crazy
truth about what's happening. Afraid of on my channel, right? I'm afraid my channel is going to be shut down. Or maybe someone is going to try to report me. What about my license? People are living in fear. So I feel this is the first time that maybe the rightful way of doing medicine is actually going to be embraced, not just to benefit the few who are making billions and billions of dollars. And then everyone's forced onto this drug approval route, knowing the drug approval for each drug to be approved on average, it costs $2.1 billion. So you're trying to put everything into the drug category when God made the cells. I use the word God. You can use the universe. You didn't make it. Nobody made it. So nature made it, but you want to make that a drug. And if it's a drug, then it has to go through the drug approval process. And that costs an average of $2.1 billion. Who has that kind of money? We all know who has that kind of money, right? Not me. So
yeah, the pharmaceutical companies that are already too big.
Bill Gates.
Yeah, exactly. So the whole system was so corrupt and so hard because all I want is to bring healing to the world. All I want is people to do better, and whatever I have to do. But boy, did they make it hard. Did they make it just unpleasant? So now I feel we have a chance to actually do this right, that doctors don't have to live in fear if they're trying to do the right things for their patients. And then we're going to embrace therapies that are preventative, are highly effective, and doesn't cost all this money for people. Just look at the insurance company, Big Pharma. They're the one that's making money. You're just, most people are sick. When they get sick, they stay sick. So you stay sick, and what happens to all your savings? It goes right to the pharma and the insurance. So together is a really great, great gig between the two of them. But what's happening to your health? You're donating money and staying miserable. So that's a problem. So now we have peptides, we have ozone therapy, we have stem cell therapy, we have all these energy modalities like different laser light, red light, sound therapy. We have so much at our fingertips that previously were poo-pooed. But now we can actually hopefully get people to be more understanding, be more knowledgeable about this, and get rid of the terrible food that's poisoning our systems. That's a big thing. And I see that, I get irritated even at my own clinic. Sometimes I see staff eating things they shouldn't be eating. It's like, I know they're poisoning their own bodies, but it's hard, right? That's part of the culture. We buy some sugary drinks, all these fruit juices.
Get that Whataburger in LA.
As I slide my Skittles under the table.
I know.
No judging.
One of my staff is doing that. The Dr. Kong's walking in.
Hide the snacks. Hide the snacks.
Yeah, you better do that. Yeah. You mean this fruit roll-up isn't really a fruit?
Yeah, this is fruit.
Man.
Unfortunately, it's part of the culture. Yeah, we just have to shift that.
Hey, but that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
By everything you're bringing to the table, everything that's happening with the new administration. So it's an exciting time. Dr. Kong, where can everybody keep up with all that you've got going on? I know you've got, projects and different things that'll be coming down the pike. So tell everybody where they can keep up with you.
So I think the best place, if people want to know about my work, joykongmd.com is a great place because I, got myself into various things, including, of course, our clinic in Los Angeles, but also I started a stem cell company where we, not only formulate high quality stem cell product, like formulated something that's really high in potency, but also in variety of cells. And we distribute that to doctors all around the country. I developed the skin cream I talked about, Chara Omni, and I have an academy where I train a lot of doctors. We have certification programs. I really want doctors to do it right because stem cell therapy is so simple and so elegant. A lot of doctors think I can just, I have to say I do stem cells and they just put in the body and the cells do the rest. But there's so much nuances to it. I really want people to do it right. So that's what I'm trying to do. I wrote a memoir called Tiger of Beijing. It's not doesn't recount how I became a doctor and doing what I'm doing, really. That'll be the sequel. But it's a good story of how I came to the United States when I was 20 years old. The first chapter was my visa rejection. So it's about overcoming. What do you do when the world tells you no and you have no way of fighting back? It seemed like I had no way because I didn't have any money, didn't have any connections. I was just one of the hundreds of millions of Chinese ladies, girls. So what do you do? So that take people on the journey of what I did, which was, unconventional, and how I made it to this country. So it's about, I want to show people, if you have determination, if you let your light shine, let your life force within you come out and you push for what you believe it's your destiny, then you're going to get there. So that's my book. But if people want to know a lot about stem cell therapy, my YouTube channel, just Joy Kong MD, just look up my name, Joy Kong, it will show that it will have all these videos on my lectures or just me having a conversation with people covering every aspect of stem cell therapy. So that's another really good place.
Great. We really appreciate you coming on and really enjoyed it.
Yeah, thanks, Joy. It was awesome. Super informative.
Yeah, you guys are fantastic.
Great. Hey, guys, you know where to find us, vibescience.com. You'll find all the latest news and information from all our guests, like Dr. Joy Kong. We'll have highlight clips, links to her episode, and all her information. We're always here to take you to your highest vibe. We'll see you next time on Vibe Science.
The content discussed on this show is provided for reference and educational purposes. The content is not an attempt to practice medicine or provide specific medical advice. Always consult your personal physician for medical advice and proper diagnosis.
Thanks for listening. This is Vibe Science. To learn more or watch full episodes, visit vibesciencepodcast.com. Here's to discovering your highest vibe